Good evening and welcome. Chris Upton in the house. Right. Chris Upton in the house. Can you see me there? It's very dark, isn't it? Obviously, you can see me, can't you? Frank Casey, first in the house. Graham Allison, good evening. Lynn Vine, good evening. Michael McLaughlin, good evening. Christopher, good evening. And Tracy Dodds, good evening. Well, I've got to confess. Not the table scholars is in the house as well. I confess because there's not many of you here. But I've had my first fallout with the housing, somebody on the housing estate. They weren't happy. They got triggered. They didn't like me shouting at my dogs today. And it was screaming at me like a washerwoman that I'm going to be reported to the RSPCA for shouting at me dogs. And what happened was, all of a sudden I'm sitting in the house and I hear a massive uproar. Doesn't happen very often, but I could tell the dogs were fighting. I'd taken them out of the kennels this morning, put them out in the back. The dogs are in one area, the bitches are in another area, and Wiz, because he's old, is in another area. So they're all in three areas, but they can all see each other. And three of the younger dogs decided, one of them, or whoever it was, decided to kick off and have a scrap. Does not happen very often. Do I allow that? Do I go out there with cheese? No, I went out there like a raging bull, shouting. And yes, there may have been a bit of swearing at the same time, I have to confess. And all of a sudden, I heard this voice of this old bat, well, could be a middle-aged bat, screaming at me like a washerwoman. I'm going to report you to the RSPCA for being cruel to those dogs. I says, fuck off. That's what I says. I says, fuck off. Now, at the end of the day, have I a right to shout at my dog? Especially if I'm going to stop them fighting because I can't get to them instantly. And as I'm going across the yard, I can hear them scrapping. I want the fight to stop. It's not against the law to keep your dogs under control. I don't want my dogs fighting. But guess what? It's ironic, isn't it? She couldn't see me where I was, where the dogs are in the exercise area. You can't see out at all. But when I went into my magic garden and I looked through the fence at who was screaming at me like a banshee, threatening to report me to the RSPCA, it was a middle-aged fat woman with a Rottweiler on a muzzle, pulling like shit. I rest my case. Sort out your own freaking dog before you start telling me what to do. Oh, and she got triggered. Well, never mind. She got triggered. Hey, what's this world coming to? What is this world coming to? We had this situation with one of the videos we put up. And I said, one thing that dog's lacking is when that person ups their voice and changes their voice, the dog should respond straight away and hit the deck and go, oh, he's not happy. I've pissed him off. That doesn't mean you beat the dogs. That means the dog knows the difference between the tone of your voice when you're happy and when you're not happy. I couldn't skip out there going, what are you up to, you lot? That's unusual. I went out there because I didn't want a vet's bill if they carried on. Because my dogs don't kick off very often. But when they do, there's a bit of a ding-dong. It sounds quite like they're having a good old ding-dong. And it's probably just testosterone and one younger dog pushing the other dog. And the other dog would back off. But it was enough for me to run out there. And that doesn't happen very often. But never, ever have I had a problem when we just had the field. I've got a problem because society's come to me. I don't know. I'm going to have to move to the moon. I'm going to have to move to the moon at this rate. I'm going to report you because you're shouting at your dogs. Oh, dear me. That's cruelty, is it? Well, I wonder why you've got to keep your dog on a muzzle and it drags you down the road on a great big lead and you have to stand still when anyone goes past. I wonder why. I wonder that's because you've got no control, because you treat your dog like a little chocolate drop snowflake. And that's the problem we have, don't we, in society? I do not mind if you're offended. If you're offended, that's your problem, not mine. I don't go out of my way to offend, but I say what I feel because I feel that a dog may not like cheese. Exactly. What's she going to do? She's gonna phone the RSPCA and say there's a man in Callington shouting at his dogs, abusing his dogs. Where's your evidence? Where is your evidence to start with? Right? Did you see him abusing his dogs? No, I just heard it. I heard him shouting at his dogs. What was he shouting at his dogs for? I don't know. I don't care. He was shouting at his dog. That's the problem, isn't it, in today's society? Not enough people have got a backbone to tell somebody else to fuck off. That's the problem, isn't it?
Shout at them when they kick off.
Sue shouts at them and kicks off. She didn't go out there and try and manhandle them. We don't need to. Because the tone of your voice, they know you're not happy.
As soon as you shout at them,
They know they've upset the status quo. And that's what we've got here, the status quo. Or is it Thin Lizzy? Thin Lizzy's over there. So it's one of them subjects that I thought, rather than hide behind and pretend it doesn't happen, I have no problem talking about it, because I believe that it's far kinder for your dog to understand that when you raise your voice, you're not happy, than having to give physical chastisement. If you can stop the behavior with changing the tone of your voice and the dog knows you're not happy and the dog stops the behavior, it's different if you're screaming and shouting at your dogs all the time. And that's the thing. I don't scream and shout at my dogs all the time. But on the odd occasion, I step up to plate and sort the problem out, whatever's happening. And that's the problem with society, isn't it? Oh, you offended me because you talked to me harshly. Oh, sorry. But you came into my life. I didn't come into your life. The RSPCA need to start looking at the dogs that are overweight and biting people than those fluffy people getting their asses chewed. Exactly. And that's the thing, isn't it? That's the thing. And so I know
if they were barking all the time, she'd be moaning about that as well.
That's the thing what Sue just said. I was going to mention that. She had to jump in and take over the show again, didn't she? I was going to mention this woman lives right across the other side of the estate. It was just the fact that she was over here, because I see her walking across there with this Rottweiler pulling all over the place, roughly to the same place every day. And half the estate's not even there yet. So it's not like they're our neighbours. They're not over the garden wall. But she couldn't stop screaming like a banshee, as if the dogs were being killed. I had to stop and think, what the frickin' hell's that screaming out there? Now, if I were a husband, I said, get your nosy little bag face back inside and shut up. It's not your dog's. You can't even see what he's doing. It's all in the mind, you frickin' snowflake. Mind your own business. Exactly. Good evening, Martin Lewis. Chris Upton's on a rant here. Just put up with it. Just put up with it. So there you go. That was that, and it made me think. Well, perhaps in future I need to get some marshmallows, and I need to go out there and talk to them. Hey fellas, what are you doing? What's the kickoff? Give them some marshmallows and really encourage the behaviour. But I don't want barking in my kennels. And when there's barking in my kennels early in the morning, I'll go out there and I'll go, shut the fuck up to the dogs. They don't know I'm swearing, but I'm not happy. And sometimes when I'm not happy, I swear. Sorry, I'm only freaking human. Oh no, humans don't swear, do they? People shouldn't swear. Well, I don't know, but I do. I've got to confess, on the odd occasion, I do let rip.
But stopping the dogs barking, that's being respectful to your neighbours, isn't it? Really, isn't it?
Oh, she's back at it again. She should be sitting next to me, shouldn't she? She shouldn't be over across the other side of the room, giving it all large. She should be sitting next to me. But she's right. If my dogs were kicking off barking early in the morning, and I'd just say, "Oh, listen, That woman shouted at me because I was shouting at my dogs, and I don't want to upset her, so I'm just going to let the dogs carry on barking. I might start throwing dog shit into the freaking new estate as well. I might start setting up traps for the bastards. Say, well, I don't take my dogs on your estate. There's shit everywhere. You can see it from my window. I think it's disgraceful. Because, listen, if I'm having an argument with my wife and someone jumps in, then I'm not going to be particularly happy, am I? If I have an argument with my wife, or my wife is having an argument. And how many times in the past have I seen two couples having a couple having an argument, someone jumps in and they get their head kicked in by both of them? Because guess what? That's between the two couples. As long as no one's physically abusing somebody, or if I was physically abusing a dog, I could totally understand. But I'm entitled to shout at my dog, shut the fuck up, if I want to. Now, I don't say that to the wife. So what happens is they'll know I'm talking to the dogs. But isn't it funny how people move into your area and want to dictate to you what you should be doing just because they are cheese tape feeding freaking lunatics? I have had people film me from their living room window. I wish people had filmed me. I'd sit in the garden naked, Denver. I'd strip off on purpose for them. I'd really give them a show. And threaten me with the RSPCA. I just said, call them then. Well done, Denver. That's it. And I'll tell you what, if the RSPCA come here, I'd bring them in and I'd freaking lock the gate and I wouldn't let them out until he said, please let me out. Because I've done nothing wrong. There is no law in the land that says you cannot shout at your dog. And I don't think there's no law in the land that says you can't shout at your children. And I don't know in reality whether there's a law in the land that says you couldn't shout at your wife, because my wife shouts at me when she freaking wants to.
Well, 16 years we've been here, and the houses across the road, not one person has said anything ever.
Hear that? She's at it again. Look, she's at it again.
Just an interference.
We've been here 16 years and no one's ever knocked at the door and says, Chris, you couldn't drop your language, could you? But we've got a road between us, see, and there's a busy road and it's traffic. And I like the fact there's traffic, because if it was across the valley and people were complaining on a regular basis, I'd tone my voice down. But yes, when I'm cheesed off with the dogs, I change the tone of my voice. It's as simple as that. There's nothing wrong with that. And I say to people, but there's got to be a consequence if the dogs don't react to it. There's the difference. So what's the next stage? You shout at the dogs, they take no notice. What do you do now if your interfering nosy neighbour has drilled a hole in your fence? Right? But isn't it funny? She can't see nothing, but she's going to phone the RSPCA because I'm abusing the dogs. Well, freaking hell, honestly. Someone should have been a bit tougher with her, I think. And she might not have been an interfering old bat. Simple as that. Now, I hope she's watching. I hope she realises I say what I feel. And obviously, if people turn off from that, that's up to them. If they don't want to watch, they don't have to watch. But I think society in general is too scared to say it the way it is. Good evening to you, Tommy the Mad Scotsman. He's in the house as well. Honestly, it's getting honestly. And there's like Leanne Vine says as well, they would report you for barking. You can't win. Exactly. Excuse me, your dogs keep barking. Well, what about the dogs on the estate? Every morning I get up, I can hear 5 or 6 dogs on the estate barking because they've got no control. My dogs bark, I go out there to tell them to be quiet. Simple as that. They don't bark very often, but I didn't go out there and scream at them like I did because they were barking. I only have to rattle the cages and they freaking shut up. And what it was is that there was a scrap. There was some testosterone kicking off somewhere, and there was a scrap. And as a referee, I've got to step in sometimes. So that's what I did, because I don't want the behavior to continue. Simple as that. Can't please everyone all the time. That's what they say, innit, eh? That's what they say. So who's having a great time in this weather? Who's having a great time in this weather? One of the things we were talking about on the World's Gone Mad, says Simon Spruce. Tell me about it, Simon. Tell me about it, eh?
I think she's just an uneducated, nosy old bat, isn't she? Really?
Oh, Sue's got on the defensive. I tell you what, she don't want to meet Sue. Sue would be completely different with her. I'd be quite polite. I'd be slightly sarcastic. Oh, it seems you seem to have to muzzle that dog for some reason, and it seems to be pulling you down the road. There's no loose lead walking on that one, is there, my dear?
I have to admit, I'll be more direct.
Sue would be far more direct. And if her husband or boyfriend, if she had one, came up and said something, I'll tell you what, Sue would be down their throats. She would. She'd be down their throats. Honestly, women are worse than men, aren't they, when they kick off, aren't they?
Don't like nosy people.
Well, it's
interfering
nosy people. That's it.
Can't stand them.
Devon says, "Bit cool here. Got some training done. Ask her some training tips, Chris." Yeah, exactly.
Put the muzzle on.
Yeah, she needs a muzzle. That's what I said last time when someone did kick off. When I went out training early in the freaking morning, they said it starts their dogs barking. That was the only time we ever had another complaint here. Right down the bottom of the field is a bungalow and a woman with basset hounds who go, ooh, 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 ooh. Honestly, you think that's an exaggeration? Imagine having that in your freaking house. And I went out training early in the morning because it was hot. And I was doing the training, and the dogs heard it, and they kicked off. And she came out like an absolute banshee as well, screaming, "Why don't you fuck off? You're making my dogs bark." I said, "Why don't you get your dogs under order and stop them barking them?" And next minute, she's at the freaking gate. Honestly, it was unbelievable. She come all the way around, stomping all the way around. And I just said, it's funny, isn't it? It's funny, isn't it? How they kick off, innit? Because there's been no consequences in their lives. They've not been told to shut the fuck up by their husband. Shut the fuck up. You're embarrassing me. I can look after myself. I'm a big boy. But hey, look at me. When Sue kicks off, I hide.
Graham said she needs a muzzle.
Yeah, she needs a bloody muzzle. That's it. And that really pisses him off, Graham, when he said it should be you with a muzzle. And then a bloke comes round and says, "Listen, mate, her gob could get you in trouble. I think you should take her home." Fucking hell, take her home? Who do you think you're talking to? I said, "I don't freaking know. I've never met her. Take the fucker home." But guess what? That's not PC, is it? Because I'm supposed to go, "I'm so sorry. I apologize. Your dog started barking and you can't control them. I'm so sorry for you." I'm not. I say it the way it is. People don't like it. It's not my problem. I watched the program tonight with them freaking dogs behaving badly and a dog on the freaking settee all the time. And the bloke had hairs all over him. If you want hairs all over you, crack on. I don't.
Right. Did you rant over?
Anyway. There's only been 17 minutes and 59 seconds of me ranting.
And Steve says I've missed the Upton rant.
Steve's missed the Upton rant, eh? I've tried to moderate myself. It's the other thing, isn't it? Another thing. Did you see that Daily Mail or the Mirror put a picture of Eddie Izzard up with a red skirt on, no stockings, and a top with breast. I don't know if he had a breast implant or not. And he said, "What a beauty! What a beauty! Am I in a different planet? Am I on a different planet?" Eddie Izzard, I've never looked at, and I like his his comedy. I think he's very intelligent on that. I do not like what he does. Am I entitled to my opinion? If it upsets him, I don't give a shit. But how could the newspaper say how beautiful he looked? Stunning. It said stunning. An absolute stunner. What are they looking at? What are they looking at? It looks like a bloke in a dress. I'm sorry. I'm not homophobic. Everyone to their own, but I could not agree with it. He has funny habits. Well, each to their own. But if the national newspaper think that that's stunning, Claudia Schiffer was stunning, right? Racco Welch was stunning in my eyes. Eddie Izzard, he's got nice legs on him compared to some women, but he runs like shit on those marathons. I give him that. But there's no way Could I look at that picture and go, oh, I've got to go with society and go, yeah, he's a stunner, he is. Oh, he's a beauty. Next, we're doing freaking wolf whistles. Oh, Eddie's got a wolf whistle from the boys. Honestly, it's freaking ridiculous, isn't it?
Peter Piper says you've been eating raw meat again. Tracy's laugh out loud, love your rants. Graham and Steve Place said he's pretty. That's Frank Malone.
He's about as pretty as Frank Malone. Dead right there. Fucking Frank Malone's exactly the same, isn't it? And he can't even keep the wig on sideways. Hang on, everyone. I've had enough. Chris has had enough. You've all wound me up. Oh, I can't find it. You're all saved, I think. You might not be. It was here. I don't know. I've had enough now. I'm fucking lost the plot. I'm out with the fairies now. Yeah, here we go. I want you all to write, frickin' hell, he's beautiful. Okay? Come on. Frank Malone. Yeah. Eddie Izzard. Come on. No laughing. You're beautiful. He's as pretty as Frank Malone. Come on. Peter Piper's fucking being sick. Let me turn it round for you, Peter. Oh, yeah, it is Frank Malone, look. Hello, lovely. What a sort, eh? What a sort. That is right. Frank Malone's like that, isn't he? He's like that, Frank Malone. Yeah, stunning. Thank you. What a stunner Chris is. Yeah. Then women wouldn't talk to me like that if they saw me like this, would they? Hey? Bastards. Honestly. I only wear, look at me here now. Look at it's all over the shop. I only wear that in bed when Sue says, treat me like a woman. She says, treat me like a woman. I go, okay. I come in with a handbag. Yeah, what a beauty, says Frank Casey. There you go. And that's the point, isn't it? I've got to not have my opinion, and yet everybody else is entitled to their opinion. I'm sorry. I would not go on a rant about Eddie Izzard normally, but when I saw that he was stunning, and people going, yeah, what a stunner. I'm sorry. I'm on a different planet. Perhaps I need to get some frigging high heels. Perhaps if I was taller, people would find me attractive with a wig on. Anyway.
I reckon they look at him through rose-coloured glasses.
Tonight's live feed just gone to the dogs. It's just terrible. It's just gone tits up tonight, hasn't it? I don't know. It's like things are on my mind and then I talk about them. But I couldn't believe how a national newspaper could say that is stunning. It just shows how they lie, isn't it? But if you said, oh no, Eddie, have you stopped and thought? It's PC, isn't it? Have you stopped and thought that we've evolved from monkeys? Well, we started off as fish, didn't we? Technically, we crawled out. We were fish, and we crawled out, and then we evolved into monkeys. Well, hang on. In my lifetime, and that's not long, is it? Let's just say 60 years. You didn't see many blokes walking around like that. You didn't see people openly wanting to be members of Parliament like that. Could you really take him seriously? Standing in the Houses of Parliament. There's one in there with a wig on, a Serapon. Have you seen him? I can't even take him seriously, and he ain't got lipstick. But Eddie wants to be noticed, wants to be seen, and now he's getting what he wants. Oh, he's beautiful. Bloody beautiful, Eddie is. I've never, ever, be honest, put hand on heart and looked at Eddie Izzard and thought, what a stunner. I could take him on a night out, hope me luck turns.
I'll be worried if you did.
Oh my God, I tell you. Did I tell you the time I went out disco dancing? No, I won't go there. No. That was a fishy joke. I went out with this girl.
Don't go there.
No, I won't go there. No, it's really rude. No, it's not really rude. It's something to do with she pulled a muscle. It's a fishy joke. Muscle. Anyway, we won't go there. We'll go back to dog training show. We'll get your serious cap back on, Chris. So serious training. So I've had somebody contact me in the group, and they've said I could run there's a test coming up. I could run in the test. What do you suggest? Well, I haven't seen your dog. I looked at the judges. I think it was in Ireland. Yeah, why not? Why not have a go? If you want to have a go and see what it's like, see the standard. Or should I go without the dog and we'll just watch? Well, if you go without the dog and just watch, you can still see the standard, can't you? And think to yourself, am I of that good standard? Or throw yourself right in the deep end and have a crack at it. But if your dog is not of a good standard, some people don't care and it wouldn't bother them. Other people the wheels would fall off the pram and, oh my God, I'm no good at training. Each to their own, and we're all different, aren't we? And that's the whole point, isn't it? And I don't say people shouldn't do this or shouldn't do that when it comes to dog training. I'm only showing you what I do. And I give you warts and all, but I talk about it in a rational manner half the time, not all the time. You know, I'm like, sometimes I go on one, don't I? And I've not really even been drinking. I've just been a little bit cheesed off that now I can't even shout at my dogs across the yard now in case it upsets some freaking snowflake in the freaking housing estate. You know, go, Chris, we were moving there, plant that one and move on, Chris. Come on. I did mine last week with my young dog. How did you get on, Leanne? Go on, tell me. Yes, that was me, Chris. Malcolm Austin. What was you, Malcolm? What was you, Malcolm? Help me. I'm dyslexic.
Something that you just said. I'm trying to think what you said.
What, you asked me about the test? Was it Malcolm Austin asked me
that
about
might have been Malcolm then. Yeah, that was me. Yeah, that was me, Chris.
About the test? Yeah. Well, the thing is, what you've got to do, if it was Malcolm, you've got to do what you... 58 out of 80 this time. There you go. But you learn from it, don't you? We should all learn by our failures, shouldn't we? But I have noticed, going back to that fucking nut job across on the housing estate, for some reason, the RSPCA haven't been around. Now, after their last video I put up about them, perhaps that was a message to them as well. You're not really welcome. I'll make you look like a plank. So who's going to come round? Who's going to come round? When they do come round, I'll be very polite with them if they're polite with me. If they try to say, I've abused dogs because they've had a report about abusing dogs, this bunny's not going to be happy, Bunny. He's going to go away and fucking prove it. Show us the evidence, darling. You can't just, somebody phones up the police and say, I think he's smoking cannabis. What makes you think he's smoking cannabis? I haven't seen him out for 3 days. Well, that doesn't mean he's not smoking cannabis, sir. That's all in your head. It's the same scenario. Where's the test, Malcolm Austin? Ireland, if it's Malcolm.
It is, because he said about the test. Yeah, that was me, Chris, about the test.
Yeah, lovely. But like I say, I don't say to no one, oh, don't bother running in tests. You're wasting your time. It all depends what you want with your dog. And everybody wants slightly different. Tracy was a fine example of a higher standard that she wanted to achieve. I wasn't being picky with her videos, but you have to look for those little things she's making mistakes with and help. Where somebody else who comes along, like the videos I put up today with the Labrador guy in the rain, that's an older video, but that came up on Facebook and I thought I'll share it with the group who haven't seen it, and I put it up. He was doing so much wrong with his dog. If I'd pulled him up for everything, he would be out in the clouds. He wouldn't be able to think straight. So what I got to do is I got to address certain issues to get the dog to improve, get him to improve. And if you watch, if someone lines a dog up and points all the time, when you tell them that that's not what you want to do, you only want to be doing that on blinds, not scenes, or you're setting up two dummies or whatever, you send the dog for one and then the other, then you can use the hand signal and lining the dog up. It's hard to break a habit that you've got into. If you've been doing it for 12 months, it's hard to do it. It's the same as if you're clicking your fingers when you're hunting your spaniel. If you're hunting your spaniel in on a trial, some judges will knock you big time if you're clicking your fingers. You shouldn't be clicking your fingers for the dog to get in. Yes, you can point where you want the dog to get in, but if you point and he doesn't go in where you point, the judge is going to knock you because he's not covering the ground that you're asking him to. He's not making good ground treatment. He's not entering cover on his own accord. The dog's supposed to smash the cover up without you saying, get in there, get in there, get in there, get in there. But if you haven't done that and you don't know that, it takes someone with my knowledge to educate you. So when we get people coming in who's just starting, I'll give them a few areas that they need to tidy up, and other areas will tidy themselves up automatically. But if I bombarded them with everything they're doing wrong, they'd be so confused. They would be totally confused.
They'd have an headache and be depressed.
They'd be de-inflated. They go home saying, "I can't train dogs. That man ripped a hole in my arse." I didn't rip a hole in your arse. I just gave it you the way it should be. But guess what? I don't believe in feeding bullshit. I believe in working on points to get it stronger, and then add to it, and get even stronger. As simple as that.
Leanne's got a question.
Can you put your dog straight into a novice trial without winning tests? Yes, you can. Of course you can. Yeah, tests and trials are completely different. If you win a novice trial, you can't put your dog into a novice trial again once you've won a novice trial. But you can put your dog into opens, and you can put your dog into all age. And some tests are like all age, and some are novice, and some are open, and some are mixed. So they get the odd ones that are mixed. I think that tests gave me a buzz because I like winning, but it definitely showed the standard of your dogs compared to everybody else. And what you've got to do is there's no point in getting teasy when someone doesn't give you the win. Even if you think your dog was good enough to win, go away. It's a training day. Look at it as a training day. Not everybody's going to want what you've got. But if you're winning on a regular basis, and then you're not winning when your dog goes better than when you're winning on a regular basis, then you can start going, well, hang on, why didn't I win today? Oh, it might have been politics today. But I don't think there's quite so much politics in tests as there is in trials. But hey, don't get me wrong. Things change, don't they? Things change. Dog training changes, doesn't it? Dog training changes. Over the years, it's changed, doesn't it? Some people want more of a biddable, hand-reliant dog than a natural ability with the dog. Some people set up tests and they're nigh impossible, and people struggle like crazy. When every dog at the test is struggling on one of the tests that you set up, doesn't that tell you something? Not all the time is the standard that poor that the dogs can't do it, because normally they'd fail at most of the things in the test. The idea of a test, you're not looking to put dogs out. You're not looking for dogs to fail. You're looking for the best dog. But the best dog should shine above the others if the standard is good. If the standard's not good, and the problem is that's what you get in tests and trials. You get people entering trials. Some are frightened of drive. Exactly, David Jones, you're dead right. Some judges are frightened of dogs with drive. Some judges don't like dogs that open up and hunt hard. I've seen that and been on the downfall end of that. But I've had other judges, talking to me as I'm hunting the dog, going, "How do you get him to do that?" I'm thinking, "You're judging me, tosser." Was that perhaps wasn't the right word, was it? Tosser. See, that's the problem when you come from a rough area and you have to moderate what you say. Didn't mean tosser really, but I did. I did mean tosser. I thought, what the freaking hell are you talking to me? You're supposed to be judging me dog. But that doesn't make you popular, does it? I didn't say tosser to him. I just thought it. It's the thought police again, isn't it? You can't say these things. I got taught the old school way, not all these treat-based and place boards and clickers. Exactly. And the problem is you can see it, can't you? You can see it's robotic. You can see it's robotic and not natural, isn't it? It's like natural, isn't it? It's lovely to watch a dog doing it naturally, isn't it? And see what happens when I talk about dog training. I calm down a little bit, don't I? It's when I talk about people. It's when I talk about people. Perhaps I should go and live in the Outer Hebrides.
On an island.
On an island, far away, and just talk to people on the internet. And they don't mind that, do they? They don't mind me ranting on the internet.
No wonder Kate bought you that gnome for your Father's Day. See
that? See, she's grassing on me now. My daughter, for Father's Day, bought me a gnome, and it says, "Go away." It says, "Go away." The gnome says, "Go away." Well, that saves me saying it, doesn't it? Don't get me wrong. I like people. but I like normal people, but I also like eccentric people, but when they're not in my face. I mean, Tommy, the Mad Scotsman, he rings me up. I'm in loo, not on the loo, in loo, with friends having dinner. And the phone's ringing non-stop. I looks at it, and it's Tommy, the Mad Scotsman. Do I answer it and say, Tommy, the Mad Scotsman, I'm having dinner. Could you leave me for a bit? Or do I think he'll put the phone down in a minute? No, he rings me 6 or 7 times. He didn't know I was having dinner. So when I did speak to him and say, Tommy, I'm in loo, I'm having dinner. Oh, he says, no problem, Chris. Sorry, Chris. I said, no need to be sorry. You didn't know. I'm just answering you now while I've got 5 minutes and I'm walking through the middle of loo going, Tommy, I can't hear you. Tommy, can you hear me? It's like the freaking Who. Tommy, can you hear me? And he's freaking still talking. And I got a sense of humour. I'm laughing because technically he was pissed. Yeah, he was fucking pissed. You're right, Steve. I am Tommy's pet dog. When he can't find me, he just keeps screaming, Chris! But we got to have a laugh, don't we? We're all different, don't we? We're all different. I don't think it was, it might have been. I think 2 people have asked me about tests this week. No, the other one was Malcolm Austin. It may have been not Malcolm because it was Ireland. I thought 2 boys, but somebody else. Did you ring me? Malcolm, was it Malcolm? Did you ring me this week and we had a quite a long talk about your dog? Or was it just you asked about the test? Because I spoke to someone else in Ireland this week for quite a while on the phone about their dog. And I don't mind. Don't get me wrong. I love my job. I love communicating with like-minded people.
It's a young lad that goes and trains with Ben, though, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it was Sue, but I'm all over the place with the names because I've been talking to so many different people, and I've been editing videos as well all day, Sue. Well, you know where you sit at work and do nothing, Sue? You know where you sit at work and do nothing? Just sit there with air-conditioned room, telling everybody you're not right near because you shouldn't be betting. She works in the bookies, everybody. She's manager in the bookies. When I go in the bookies, it's what you doing here? Oh, you're not going to put money on horses, are you? How much have you lost? Oh, she could actually add it up on the freaking fruit machine. She could actually see how much you spent on the fruit machine. She's like a freaking witch.
I say to you, don't sit on that chair.
See that? Don't sit on that chair. She wants me to stand up and gamble. Honestly, I don't gamble heavy, but so I don't go in Sue's bookies because she's bad luck. She's bad luck. As soon as you win, it's like, right, are you leaving? Are you leaving now?
No, Malcolm said it was just WhatsApp.
Oh, just WhatsApp.
Yeah, it was the young lad, the one that trains with Ben in Ireland. That's who you were talking to.
All right, okay. There you go. Just WhatsApp. It wasn't on the phone then?
No.
Oh, no. Right. Oh, WhatsApp. Yeah, I remember that now. The problem is that's what happens when you deal with so many different people. And you're thinking about that lovely woman on that housing estate all day. She's done me freaking head in today. I shouldn't let it bother me, should I? And I'll tell you why. Because it doesn't happen very often. And when it does bother me. Because I don't want to fall out with people in the neighbourhood, really. Not really. But hey, if it happens, doesn't it? Chris, I thought we'd moved on from that. I thought you'd park that, put the lid on the box, and moved on. No, I'm a sensitive soul. I'm becoming a freaking snowflake. Anyway, cheers.
As somebody said earlier, you can't please everybody all
So,
the time.
So come on then, let's have a guessing game. What is Chris drinking here? I guarantee someone's going to say what is in my head at the moment. What am I drinking here? I bet you someone's going to say it and it starts with C. Yes, Alistair, I agree. Eddie looks like a jock in a frock. Exactly. Attitude, behavior. Her attitude affects your behavior. Exactly. Sorry, I'm late to the party. Paul Crocker, you're always late to the party.
What did he miss? Everything.
You
Fantastic night.
You missed everything. Honestly, it was the best night we've ever had. We've talked about Eddie Izzard.
Chris has been on a rant. Oh, you've missed it all.
You've missed the rant. You'll have to watch it right back, right all the way through. It's 40 minutes gone. You might as well go to bed now, Paul. Catch up with your sleep and watch it in the morning.
And Tommy says he was pissed.
Tommy says, I was pissed, Chris. Hey,
I was pissed, Steve, he says.
oh, yeah. He was pissed, Steve. Yeah. I'll give you Steve's telephone number. Yeah, so anyway, there you go. So has anybody got any questions? We've had 40 minutes of me ranting. I'm beginning to calm down now. It'll just come down a little bit. Like, has anybody got any questions? Any questions? Before I go and sit in my garden naked with a fishing rod and just look like a freaking gnome. Good lad, Tommy. Dear me. So I was asking, has anybody worked out what I'm drinking? No, it's not cherry juice. No one's interested. No one's interested. Honestly, they can't cope with the odd stuff. Is there any questions up here, sir? Because we've got 41 minutes and I'm now drying up to what to say. No. Cider, says Steve. Cider? When's the last time you saw cider? Pink, red. Do you have red cider?
You get fruit flavors.
Oh, fruit ciders. You get fruit ciders, yeah. Mm. Sue says I'm fruity enough, really. It's an Italian drink. Tracy cranberry juice. What do you think I am, Tracy? It's an Italian drink. Come on. We could give away a squirrel skin for the winner, couldn't we? We got all these drinkers in the house, and no one can tell me what I've been drinking. Yeah. Isn't that funny, eh, Sue? They're all Coke people, aren't they?
I knew one would come up with that.
Ribena. Chianti. Was that Chianti or Chianti? It's an Italian drink. I got introduced it from The Godfather. No one's going to get it, Sue.
No. No
one's going to get it. I can't believe it. Red lemonade. No, I'm drinking. Come on, Sue. You know. Sue knows what it is.
I made it for you.
Oh, she made it for me. She's getting good at making these now. She's getting better. Well done, Jeffrey. Jeffrey, if only I was going to give a squirrel skin away. We have a pisshead in the house. Jeffrey knows what I've been drinking. Campari and soda. Jeffrey knows. Look at that. A man of the world. You know why, don't you? He used to be a diver. He knows. He knows. He's been a few places diving. Right, so that's it then. We're going to have an early night tonight. See you all later. Unless you've got anything sensible to talk about. And I honestly don't know. What about this Russian thing then? Let's talk about that for a split second. What about this geezer? He's not going to be seen, is he? He's supposed to be sent to Belarus. He ain't going to be seen again, is he? He'll be sleeping with the fishers, won't he? Hey, he don't realise, does he? They're taking all the weapons off Wagner. Is it Wagner? They're taking all the weapons off them so they can't kick off. And what's Putin going to do? He's going to make people disappear. He's going to freaking make them. He's a magician, that bloke. Leanne Vine says, I love your squirrel skins. Leanne, they're not mine. They're Jules. Jules makes the. You've had one, Leanne, haven't you? You've had one. We sent one in the post, didn't we? Do you sit there stroking it like he does on The Godfather with his cat? Do you sit there stroking it? Do you sit there stroking it thinking about me, Leanne? Fat boy. Hey? We won't tell you what Tracy's daughters said about me. No, we won't say it. Only people. You know.
Lots dolphins in Russia. Yeah. And around the world as well.
Yeah, they're all disappearing, aren't they? Mutiny on the Bounty. We've not seen him since. Why are you going off to Belarus? You can retire. You'll be freaking retired.
Yes, you did, she said.
Yes, you did. You won one, didn't you? And you deserved it as well. Yeah, so that and the mortgage prices. Have the mortgage prices affected many of you? Let's just see, so are they all loaded and they've paid off their mortgage? Have you? Are the mortgages affecting you? Come on, give us an SP, yes or no. Are you finding it a bit of a struggle? Trigger TV, Adam husband.
Trigger video from yesterday, Trigger TV.
Yeah, we've seen it. It's like Trigger TV over on Corleone Talk. There's more Trigger TV on there than anything else, Adam. They're loving it. Amy has a different opinion now. Thank God for that, Trace. I haven't been able to sleep thinking about that, Trace. Do you know what? When you look at yourself all the time on the screen, especially the lives, and people have said what she said, I'm thinking, she's frigging right. That fly fancied me, though. Did you see that? Did you see that Bruce Easy move then? Did you see that? Like, did you see it? I just killed a fly like that. Like that. Yeah, so, honestly, it's just bloody hard work, honestly. So I'm just waffling now. I got literally keep looking at the clock. 46 minutes. I'm thinking, come on, tell me what to talk about.
Trigger TV, a new pup update. Everybody wants updates.
Yeah, that's what Adam's doing. He's doing pup updates. Adam's got a new pup. Adam has gone mad. He's got more dogs than Battersea Cats and Dog Zone. Honestly, it's like once you start collecting them, Adam, you'll have a kennel full of 20. Everyone's been there. That's it. Did you notice though, everyone? He's gone back to a Labrador, hasn't he? That spaniel nearly broke him, didn't it? That spaniel nearly broke him. He's gone back to a bloody Labrador.
So that isn't true.
Everybody loves puppies. Yep, that's the thing. Honestly, the amount of women who've come right up to me without any fear when I've got a puppy in my hands is unbelievable over the years. It's as if they become starry-eyed looking into my eyes and they love it, don't they? They absolutely love it. It's funny what puppies do to people, isn't it? I'm like, get that thing off me. It might piss. Don't want to hold it. Give it to Sue. She can carry it home. She can put it in the box. No, I'm not a fan of puppies myself. Call me what you like. Call me what you like. I like a dog when it's like 13, 14 months old and just starting to push boundaries. It means train me. It says train me. I also like a fully trained dog, but I love that stage more than anything in the development from the puppy to the trained dog. I love that naughty stage where the dog just says, I'm not getting enough. I want more. Train me. I love that stage.
Adam says he can't have another spaniel.
Well, you could get a sleigh. Now I know why my husband wanted one for himself. Right. What did he want for himself? What?
A puppy?
What? Come on, Leanne, tell me more. A Ukrainian kennel girl? What did he want for himself? If you say Eddie Izzard, oh no, please don't. I now know why my husband wanted one for himself. A puppy.
Puppy.
Do you mean because it's a babe magnet? Is that what you're trying to say, Leanne? Because it's a babe magnet. I think you are, aren't you? Yeah. You can imagine what you can do with two puppies. Chris, behave yourself. I've always liked puppies. They don't have to be very big. Susan, shut up. Some people are bum men, aren't they? sorry, that didn't sound right, did it? Some blokes like women's bums, bum men. Some blokes are bum men, aren't they? I didn't mean that in that way. I meant that some blokes like bums and some blokes like breasts. Puppies. That's what I was talking about. Puppies. I love puppies, especially the ones with the pink nose. Exactly, Steve. Exactly. But we're dinosaurs. We're dinosaurs. Us old farts can't talk about that, can we? We can't talk about that, can we? Can't. Not these days. No, it's offensive. Yeah, it's very offensive. You can't do it, can you? You can't be a man's man these days, can you? No. Stop it, Alison. Stop it. No, we're not talking about four-legged puppies. We weren't talking about four-legged puppies all evening. Adam started it. He just needs to get it off his chest. He needs to get abreast of the situation, doesn't he, when you think about it? Anyway, anybody interested in watching absolutely something fantastic? What's his name? Stephen Hawkins. True Men, Chris. Yeah, exactly, Steve. Stephen Hawkins. The great genius, Stephen Hawkins. And Ricky Gervais. The comedian. Ricky Gervais. What's it called? You have to help me here because I'm dyslexic. Talking about Christianity, talking about God. I thought it was absolutely hilarious. I listened to it all the way through. It's an hour and a half long. It's absolutely fantastic. And they say, has anybody proved yet there is a God? Has anybody proved there is a God? Right? They're now saying that Jesus was God. Well, I thought the Bible was written all them years ago and it told you who Jesus was and who God was. They're now saying Jesus was God. Well, they can say what they frigging want, can't they? It's a bit like the positive only movement. And that's why I said today that the positive only movement reminds me of religion. They like to bully people into what you should be doing. And that's what the Bible used to do, isn't it? They used to bully people, threaten people, didn't they? If you didn't follow religion. If there is, he needs an update. Who?
If there is, he needs an update.
Who?
God.
But the thing is, I believe exactly what they were saying on this debate. How come science has to be proven and yet people believe in God that's never been proven? You know, they were very clever people, weren't they, who sat and wrote that Bible. That Bible has been read by more people than any bestseller, isn't it? When you think about it, how many people have fallen for it? But they're now saying there's a decline in religion, and people are not as under threat of being bullied by religion. But anybody who talks against religion, and I say, listen, there's going to be people on here who are really religious. You are entitled to your opinion, no problem at all, absolutely no problem at all, and I respect your opinion. That's your opinion, but I have the right to disagree that I don't think there is a God, or question it. And shouldn't we question science? But at the end of the day, if God made the world in 7 days,
6, Sunday was a rest day.
Oh, Sue said 6 because Sunday was a rest day. How come it's taking me so long in the garden? Because I'm trying to get back to God, trying to do earthly things. But I like the flowers, but they die. They don't last very long. Some flowers will come again and some flowers don't. What's the point in putting flowers in that are going to freaking die next week when it starts raining or there's too much sun and all this? I want stuff in the garden that's going to carry on growing. Yeah, look, Casey says, stop digging, Chris. No, I'm not digging. It's back to that same scenario, isn't it? It's back to that same scenario. It's like the positive only movement, isn't it? They can tell you what they like. I say prove it. There you go. That exactly, Jeff. Sense of humor. But some people would go, oh my God, you'd go to hell for that, Jeff. I know there's a devil. He's sitting on my sofa. Exactly. Devil dog. But you love him because of his nature. And I love him because of his nature. And if he was just so easy, I don't know if he'd mean that much. Well, he might do. No, I don't think you do. I think the dogs that test you, the dogs that push you, I think you never forget them. And especially if you master them, it teaches you so much. And that's the same with religion, isn't it? When you think about it, were we browbeaten into religion as youngsters, and now the parents don't push the kids so much into religion like they used to? I don't know. There's a lot of people are very religious, and I have nothing against it. And if it makes you a better person, then I'm all for it for you. If it makes you a better person, but I got to question it. I'm sorry.
If they're now saying that Jesus was God,
mm-hmm.
Who was Jesus talking to when he said, "Father, forgive them, for they know not what they're doing"?
Himself, Sue.
Yeah, right.
He was having one of their moments. I have no idea, Sue. When I look at
this is what you question.
Well, it's so contradictive, isn't it? It's so contradictive. Why, if you want to be kind and considerate, do you need to rule people with fear? Why do you need control? We don't rule our dogs with fear, but we have control. But we use a lot of. There's nothing better, is there, than all going on a scout trip singing "Kumbaya." Hey, it's lovely, isn't it? But if you've never done it, you wouldn't know what it's like, would you? Or was it Cubs? I can't remember.
Or the wheels of the bus go round and round.
That was a bit after my time. The wheels on the bus go round and round. So I know you've been singing it ever since it's been in your head. She sings it on a regular basis. You go down the car and says, "Sing a song that you know." And she goes, "No, I don't know any." I said, "Go on, sing a song that you know. Go on, just sing something, Sue." She goes, "The wheels on the bus go round and round, round and round." Honestly, it's like taking a freaking 7-year-old child out. Honestly, sometimes we don't talk to each other when we go out, We just sit there in silence. Because in case she starts singing the wheels on the bus.
Silence is golden.
She's getting on. She's on a roll tonight, isn't she? She's obviously had a glass and a half of wine tonight, everyone.
But duct tape is silver.
Duct tape is silver. Who said that, Susan?
Silence is golden, but duct tape is silver.
Do you know what? And this is true. You got 3 minutes left. Some days I talk about absolute shit in the car just to get a conversation going between me and Sue. And I goes, "Is it?" I said, "I'm just talking verbal diarrhea." And she looks at me and smiles. She never says yes, stop it, or she never says no. She's too polite. I'd say, "Sue, can you do us a favour? Shut the fuck up." But that doesn't mean I don't love her, does it? That doesn't mean I don't care. But she doesn't do that. I have to prod her with a stick sometimes to get a conversation out of her.
Not a natural stick. You know what these people are like?
Not a natural stick. What's that?
Actual stick.
Actual stick.
You're prodding with me with a stick, as a saying, not an actual stick.
Well, this is getting far too complicated for me now. This is.
No, but you let people out there going, "Oh, he prodded with a stick."
Oh no! Here we go. Here we go. Look at
the way the old nursery schools were run with extreme discipline. They were words.
They were, weren't they? Humpty Dumpty. That was a bastard. If you read that out. Well, they pushed Humpty Dumpty off the wall, did they? Cracked his freaking head open. No, we never had that at school. We had asbestos in the roofs. We didn't have freaking Humpty Dumpty. So anyway, on that note, I think we should part early, don't you? Unless somebody's got something sensible to say, because honestly, some days on these live feeds, I think, what the hell am I going to talk about? And we've managed to get through to 59 minutes and 11 seconds. Has anybody got anything entertaining? Oh, what was on tonight? There was something on telly. I thought, why are you all watching me when there's something on telly? Quite interesting. There's only 21 people watching me. But the problem is, by the time we put this down next week, there'll be 90, 100 people watch it. So they seem to watch it, don't they? Good night, Steve. Nice talking to you, mate. Nice for you to be in the room. And good night, Jeffrey. Good night, Leanne. Good night, Graham. Good night, Adam. Peter Piper. Tracy. We've already said that, haven't we? I said that twice, shall we, Tracy? We said Leanne, haven't we? I do like girls in my life. I do like the ladies. We've only got a few. They're not snowflakes, are they? They can take it, can't they? They can have a bit of a laugh. Alistair Brown's in the house. Eddie Izzard looks like Jock in a frock. I thought that was brilliant, mate.
Yeah, real women.
Real women. That's what I like. Real women. I like a man's man, but I like women to be women, not Eddie freaking Izzard. On that note, Chris Upton will probably get struck off Facebook for a week for being too direct, but am I not entitled to my opinion?
Not in this world anymore.
Chris Upton, signing off. I might send Eddie Izzard a photo and ask him if he could kiss it and sign it for me. He might listen to this, might he, Eddie? Might change his mind, might he? He might think, well, I'm not as attractive to everybody out there. But
Jeffrey says good night and see you later.
See you later, alligator. Chris Upton signing off. Everybody's going home. Bollocks to you all. Thanks for tuning in.